Doctor's advice: eat eggs like this to improve blood circulation and sex after 60. Senior health. I am Dr. Nathan Wells. I am in my 60s. For more than 3 decades, I have had a singular mission: to accompany older men, helping them regain their vitality, their confidence, and their deep connection with their partners. Without drugs, without shame. I still remember the look in Walter's eyes that day. He walked into my office thin, his eyes averted, his voice whispering as if afraid to be heard. "I don't feel like myself, doctor, but people keep saying, it's just old age." Walter, 66, used to be a maintenance worker, a job that required both mind and body. He had believed all his life that if he worked hard and maintained discipline, old age would come smoothly. But 3 months after that visit, Walter was hospitalized, not because of a heart attack, nor because of high blood pressure. It was the blood flow to the pelvic area, the last place anyone would think of, that had become dangerously congested. He had lost not only his energy, but also his sense of intimacy, his confidence, and the connection he had once held sacred with his partner. When I saw him again at the hospital, I was furious with my own profession, where so many people blame aging and ignore the obvious signs: cold hands and feet, insomnia, exhaustion, lack of motivation. All because of one simple, often overlooked cause: poor circulation. We've been taught to accept the decline after 60 as a given, but the truth is, your body never gives up on you unless you give up on it first. I started asking him about his lifestyle, about breakfast, about the little things. And he said what I'd heard hundreds of times: "I only drink coffee, eat a slice of toast. I avoid eggs for cholesterol." In that moment, I knew what was contributing to his loss of vitality: a lack of nutrients for the blood vessels, something an egg could provide in abundance if used properly. I looked him in the eye and said, "Walter, if I asked you to make just one small change every morning to restore not only your circulation, but also your intimacy with your wife, would you try it?" He nodded. And so our journey began, not with a prescription, but with a hot pan and 2 soft eggs. Walter started to change in the smallest ways. But before I tell you the results, let me explain why it matters. Most men after 60 come to my clinic with the same thing: "I'm not myself anymore." They don't complain about pain, they don't complain about fatigue, but their eyes are empty, their voices are choked. They don't know what to call the feeling, they just know something is missing. I've been hearing this for over 30 years, and I understand. It's not just age, it's slowing blood circulation, something that happens silently but affects every system, from heart rate to memory to intimacy in the bedroom. When blood flow is slow, emotions become dull, and the connection in a marriage slowly cracks without anyone noticing. Walter says he no longer wants to hold his wife's hand every night like he used to, not because he no longer loved, but because he felt ashamed. His body did not listen, reacted slowly, making him withdraw. He thought he was weak, but the truth was that his body was just lacking nutrients to nourish his blood vessels, not losing his manhood. And you know what's the most heartbreaking thing? Most men don't know that they can change that. If you're listening to this story and recognize yourself, I hope you don't stay silent. Poor circulation is not a sentence. It's a signal that you need to start taking care of yourself consciously. Click subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because I have more to share, not just about eggs, but also about the journey to regain health and emotions after 60. And if you're still here, comment, "I'm listening to my body," so I know you haven't given up. I'm Dr. Nathan Wells, and I believe the journey back to being yourself can start with one morning, one egg, and one small decision today. I remember the first time I met Samuel, a 74-year-old former Marine, tall and strong, with the determined eyes of a man who had sailed through many storms. But that day he sat silently in front of me, clasped his hands together, and said softly, "I feel myself fading, doctor. Not just my memory, but my very being." That sentence made me silent for a long time. You see, when blood circulation is not good, what we lose is not just the warmth of our hands or the flexibility when standing up and sitting down. We lose connection with our own bodies and with the people around us. Poor circulation reduces the amount of oxygen to the brain, making us vague, forgetful, irritable, and withdrawn. And when blood does not flow to where it needs to go, that man not only loses his ability, but also his confidence, his courage, and his sense of worth. Samuel did not need enhancement drugs. He needs to understand that the problem is the inner flow, not the outer age. We don't have to endure that feeling. We don't have to quietly accept that after 60, it's a downward slope. Because science has shown restoring circulation is possible, naturally, safely, and starting with very simple things. If you feel that your body is gradually sending you signals that you haven't heard yet, don't let it continue to call in solitude. And if you've ever felt fading like Samuel, comment, "I deserve recovery." I will read and respond to each one because no one should go on this journey alone. When I was a young doctor, first entering the field of endocrinology and circulatory medicine, I also told my patients to stay away from eggs. Back then, we were all afraid of cholesterol. Eggs were considered the silent culprit of cardiovascular disease. Most men skipped breakfast or replaced eggs with low-fat bread and cereals, things that were full of sugar but empty of nutrients. But time and science taught me one thing. Eggs are not the enemy. Eggs are the misunderstood friend. I remember Mr. Howard, 72 years old, a retired teacher with sad eyes but still retaining the elegance of a man who had loved deeply. He said, "I'm not sick, doctor. I just feel less present in my life." The words sounded vague, but I understood. We reviewed our living habits. He drank only coffee every morning with a slice of white bread. Eggs? He didn't dare eat them. His wife and children stopped him because they were worried about his heart. I explained that in one little egg, there is everything your blood vessels, your memory, and your male hormones need. Choline to repair the lining of your blood vessels, arginine to help produce nitric oxide, the golden molecule that dilates your blood vessels and increases circulation. B complex to carry oxygen throughout your body. Even if it is a free-range egg, there is vitamin D, good cholesterol to balance your male hormones, reduce inflammation, and increase testosterone. After 3 weeks of eating eggs again, but the right way, soft-boiled, not fried in industrial oil, with leafy greens and avocado, Howard turned around and said something that I still remember. "Doctor, I didn't know an egg could make me feel alive." I smiled at him. Not because I was surprised, but because I felt relieved. Another man getting his flow back. No drugs, no major intervention. Just listen to your body and make peace with the simple things you used to take for granted. Eggs are not magic, but they are the first step in a series of recovery. It's like rekindling a fire, a small but strong and real spark. Not everyone recovers immediately. Some people come to me after months of trying what they read somewhere online and are disappointed, not because eggs don't work, but because they've used them wrong. I remember Tom, 68, a former builder, a burly man with a hoarse voice, but always with the pride of a man who once fed his family with calloused hands. When he walked into the clinic, he couldn't hide his disappointment. "I've been eating eggs for 3 months now, and I don't feel any better. I feel even more tired." We sat down. I asked him how he ate. 2 eggs every morning, fried in oil with sausage, white bread, like when I was young. At that moment, I understood the problem. It wasn't the eggs that were bad. It was what came with them, how they were cooked, and the past. When you fry eggs in industrial oils like soybean, corn, and canola, refined oils that are heated to high temperatures, you're not just destroying the micronutrients in the egg. You're also creating free radicals, molecules that damage blood vessel walls and cause inflammation. That makes blood flow more difficult and blood vessels more congested, especially in the small blood vessels where you need it most. And that's not all. When you eat eggs with sausage, bacon, or processed meats, you're also loading your body with salt, nitrates, preservatives, and saturated fats, all of which can constrict blood vessels, raise blood pressure, and lower testosterone. And finally, overcooking. Fried eggs that are crispy, boiled until the yolk turns blue, all of which destroy choline, B vitamins, and essential amino acids. The things that keep blood flowing, the mind sharp, are gone in one overcooked session. Tom doesn't know, and I don't blame him. Many men like him are trying to do the right thing, but getting the opposite result simply because of lack of information. It's not because they're lazy, it's because they're used to the old ways, the ways of their fathers, when fried eggs was the sign of a decent meal. I told Tom, your body doesn't need anything big. It just needs you to prepare breakfast with understanding. We started again, gently, properly, and after just 2 weeks, Tom was back, not as heavy as before. Sometimes it's not age that weakens you. It's the memory of the old ways of life that no longer suit your body today. And you have the power to change that, not by force, but by understanding and loving yourself more. I always tell my patients, breakfast is more than just the first meal of the day. It's how you tell your body, I care about you. After Howard's story and Tom's, I started teaching men all over the country a recipe that's so simple, yet so effective, it surprised even me. Just 2 eggs, prepared correctly, can change the way you feel in your body in a week. No drugs, no gym, no big changes. I often tell them to start with this: 2 free-range eggs, preferably organic. Soft boil for 6 to 7 minutes, or lightly saute over low heat using olive oil or grass-fed butter. Add a handful of spinach or kale. They provide natural nitrates that help dilate blood vessels. Add half a ripe avocado. The good fat helps balance hormones, lubricates blood vessels. You can sprinkle turmeric and black pepper. Reduce inflammation, improve circulation to the brain and body. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it does need to be done with attention. After 7 days, many people come back to me and tell me that their hands are warmer. Their feet are no longer cold. They remember things that were vague weeks ago. And some even say, I feel more connected to my wife and to myself. You see, blood circulation is not just a physical thing. It's about emotions, memories, and presence. When the flow in the body is smooth, everything else starts to move again. The eyes, the laughter, and even the things that seem to have died in silence. I, Dr. Nathan Wells, have been with thousands of men for 30 years. I don't teach them to start over. I show them how to get back to the simple but right thing and let the body do the rest. And today I share with you not just a recipe, but a little piece of faith that you are not finished, that in your body there is still flow, there is still life, and there is still love. Thriving Solo: 8 Surprising Benefits of Living Alone. After 65 elderly advice. Have you ever wondered if living alone after 65 is really a choice of loneliness, or perhaps an opportunity to rediscover yourself? Forget the assumptions that growing older means isolation and sadness. In reality, it can be a powerful decision, a step towards finding freedom, peace, and true joy in life. In the quiet, you'll have the chance to take control of your own life, revisit forgotten passions, and, most importantly, reconnect deeply with yourself. It's not loneliness, it's independence and freedom, a life that's fulfilling and meaningful. Join us as we explore why living alone after 65 can be one of the best decisions you ever make. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content to inspire and inform you. Number 1, increase self-control. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to make every decision in your day without having to consult anyone? When to eat, what music to listen to, or simply how to enjoy your morning in silence? That's the beauty of autonomy, and it's one of the most powerful gifts that come with living alone after 65. Living alone doesn't mean being lonely. In fact, it can mark the beginning of a deeply empowering chapter in your life. When you share your home with family, your routines often revolve around others. Maybe you eat earlier than you'd like, avoid turning up the music, or hold back your thoughts to keep the peace. Bit by bit, these small compromises add up, and your independence quietly slips away. But when you live alone, you reclaim it all. You become the author of your own rhythm. Take Margaret, 72, for example. When she lived with her adult daughter and son-in-law, she gradually lost her sense of space and self. Her days were filled with unspoken rules and quiet sacrifices. "I felt like a guest in my own life," she said. But once she decided to live on her own again, everything changed. "Now I wake up when I want, dance in the kitchen, and sip tea at midnight without feeling guilty," she shared with a bright smile. That simple shift brought back her confidence, joy, and self-respect. This kind of freedom isn't just about comfort, it's about well-being. Studies show that seniors who maintain autonomy often experience better mental health, improved self-esteem, and even greater longevity. As the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you." And at this stage of life, don't you deserve to live on your own terms? So ask yourself, if you could shape each day around your own joy, peace, and choices, what would your life look like? How would it feel to wake up knowing you answer only to yourself? Living alone after 65 is more than just a lifestyle. It's a bold, beautiful affirmation that your story is far from over, and you're the one holding the pen. If you found this message inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more life-changing advice, real stories, and practical tips to help you live your best life after 65. Your journey matters, and we're here to walk it with you. Number 2, peaceful environment. Have you ever wondered what truly brings peace and happiness in your later years? Many people assume that living alone after 65 means isolation or loneliness, but in reality, it can be one of the healthiest and most empowering decisions you'll ever make. One of the most powerful reasons is this: a peaceful environment. When you live alone, you are in full control of your space and the energy that surrounds you. There are no blaring TVs, no unexpected arguments, and no disruptive conversations breaking your focus or rest. This quiet isn't just about the absence of noise. It's about creating a sanctuary where your mind and body can truly rest, recharge, and heal. Take Margaret, for example, a 72-year-old woman who used to live with her son and 2 young grandchildren. While she loved her family deeply, she often felt overwhelmed by the constant movement and noise. "I didn't have a place to just breathe," she admitted. But after moving into her own small apartment, everything changed. Margaret began sleeping better, her blood pressure improved, and most importantly, she started to feel like herself again. "I didn't realize how much I had lost my own rhythm," she said, "until I had the space to rediscover it." Can you relate to Margaret's experience? Have you ever dreamed of waking up in a quiet morning, sipping tea as birds sing outside your window, instead of being jolted awake by loud voices or chaotic mornings? A peaceful home becomes a healing space, one that supports your physical health and emotional well-being. Studies in psychology confirm this. Silence reduces the stress hormone cortisol, sharpens memory, and improves deep sleep. 3 things that become increasingly vital as we age. As the philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." Living alone in peace allows you to stop being swept away by the demands of others and finally move at your own pace. And it's in that stillness that you begin to truly hear yourself, to rediscover your passions, and to embrace life with a new kind of clarity. So let me ask you, could it be that what you truly need isn't more people in your home, but more space for you? Maybe now is the perfect time to reclaim that quiet, nourishing solitude that allows you to thrive, stay healthy, and live with intention every single day. Number 3, freedom to create your own routine. Imagine waking up in the morning to peaceful silence, not to someone else's alarm or schedule, but to your own rhythm. You brew a warm cup of tea, sit by the window, feel the soft glow of the morning sun, and ease into your breakfast without rushing. This is one of the greatest gifts of living alone after 65, the freedom to create your own routines, on your terms, for your well-being. Living alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means living fully with yourself. Take George, a 75-year-old man who once lived with his grandchildren. He eventually chose to move back into his own space, not out of conflict, but out of a deep desire to reconnect with the things he loved, taking his time in the morning, solving puzzles, enjoying a quiet meal without interruptions. Can you see a bit of yourself in George's story? When you're no longer caught up in someone else's schedule, you begin to rediscover your passions, your pace, and your purpose. The ability to shape your day gives you a powerful sense of control, which is essential for mental well-being in your senior years. When you decide when to take a walk, when to read a book, or even when to rest, you're not just passing time, you're embracing life on your terms. As the philosopher Henry David Thoreau wisely said, "What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals." So ask yourself this: if every day were a blank page, what would you write on it? Living alone after 65 is your chance to pick up the pen again, to create the life you want, one day at a time. Whether it's learning something new, tending to your garden, journaling your thoughts, or simply enjoying the calm, it's a chance to listen to your inner voice. Studies from Harvard have shown that maintaining personal control and structure in daily life significantly reduces the risk of depression and memory decline among older adults. The beauty is, no one else decides your daily rhythm but you. So will you keep living by others' habits or start living the life that truly brings you joy? Make each day a choice that matters, and why not begin now? If you found this message inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more uplifting life lessons, health tips, and empowering stories for seniors. Let's grow stronger, wiser, and freer together. Number 4. Increase confidence and emotional strength. Living alone after 65 isn't just about having your own space. It's a powerful statement of independence, strength, and emotional resilience. Many assume that aging means becoming dependent on others, but in truth, this stage of life can be the most liberating. When you handle everyday tasks on your own, whether it's paying bills, calling a repair service, or planning your meals, you're reminding yourself, I am capable, I am still in control. These small acts become daily affirmations of your inner strength and self-worth. Take the story of Eleanor, a vibrant 76-year-old woman. After losing her closest friend, she made the decision to live on her own. It wasn't an easy transition, but over time, Eleanor discovered something unexpected: confidence. She started managing her daily life independently, from fixing things around the house to scheduling her own doctor appointments. Every small success became a quiet triumph, building her sense of pride and emotional strength. As Marie Bainan-Ray once said, "We are not old until regrets take the place of dreams." Eleanor chose not to live in regret, but in action. Have you ever asked yourself what might happen if you gave yourself the chance to live fully on your own terms? Even now? The fear might be real at first, but beyond it lies a profound realization. You are stronger than you think. Confidence isn't something people can hand you. It's something you build, step by step, by showing up for yourself.